Are you bloated by noon, even when you barely ate? Do you wake up feeling full and heavy from the night before? Every morning you hope today will be different, and most days it isn't. Nobody has told you why, not really. In the next 18 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what happens to your gut after 60 and the simple, natural steps you can start today to clean it out and feel lighter than you have in years. Stay with me through number 3. That one surprises almost everyone. Here's what's actually going on in your body, and I want you to hear this clearly because nobody explains it this way. Your gut is not just a tube that moves food through, it's a living system. And after 60, that system changes in ways that have nothing to do with willpower or what you're eating wrong. First, your gut moves more slowly. The muscle contractions that push food through your intestines, called peristalsis, naturally weaken with age. Food sits longer, waste builds up, and you feel it. Second, you're producing less stomach acid and fewer digestive enzymes. That means food isn't being broken down properly before it even reaches your intestines. Partially digested food sitting in your gut is one of the main drivers of that bloating and heaviness you feel. Third, your gut bacteria have shifted. Research published in the journal Gut Microbiota for Health found that adults over 60 show a measurable decline in beneficial bacteria, the kind that keep your gut lining healthy and your digestion smooth. This matters more than most people realize. And here's the thing that most doctors won't sit down and explain to you. When your gut lining gets compromised, and it does get more fragile after 60, it affects everything. Your energy, your mood, even your joints. Because 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. You're not falling apart. Your body is asking for different support than it needed at 40, that's all. This is not your fault, but it is something you can address starting today. A 2022 study in Nutrients, one of the leading peer-reviewed nutrition journals, found that 63% of adults over 60 experience what researchers call gut microbiome dysbiosis. That's a technical term for your gut bacteria being out of balance. And crucially, those same researchers found that targeted dietary changes improved symptoms in most participants within just 4 weeks. A separate study from the University of California looked at gut transit time in seniors. That's how long it takes food to move through your system. In seniors over 65, transit time was nearly double what it is in adults under 40. Double. That's why you feel so heavy and sluggish after meals. And a 2021 review in the American Journal of Gastroenterology confirmed that fiber intake and hydration, two of the simplest interventions imaginable, had the largest measurable impact on gut health in older adults. Not expensive supplements, not procedures, fiber and water. What I'm going to walk you through today is built on that research. Simple, natural, and something you can start tonight. Now, before we get into what actually works, I need to tell you about the mistake almost every senior makes when they start feeling this way. And it's not your fault because it seems completely logical. Most people reach for a laxative. Constipated, bloated, uncomfortable, you go to the pharmacy, you grab a box of something, and it works, sort of, for a day or two. But here's what they don't tell you on that box. Stimulant laxatives, the most common kind, work by irritating your intestinal lining to force movement. The more you use them, the more your gut comes to depend on that irritation to function. Over time, your natural muscle contractions get even weaker. Your gut essentially stops trying on its own. This is called laxative dependency, and it's extremely common in adults over 60 who have been using them for years. Every time you reach for that box, you may be making the underlying problem worse. There's also a second mistake, and this one catches people off guard. Many seniors increase their fiber intake, which is the right instinct, but they do it without increasing their water at the same time. Fiber without water doesn't move. It actually makes constipation worse. It's like trying to push dry concrete through a pipe. If you've ever added more fiber to your diet and felt worse, that's probably why. So, now that you know what not to do, here's what your gut actually needs. Let's go through 5 things that have been shown to genuinely support gut health after 60. Not trendy, not expensive, things that work with your body's biology not against it. Number 1. The morning sweep. Psyllium husk with warm water first thing in the morning. Psyllium husk is the outer casing of a seed called Plantago ovata. You may have seen it in Metamucil, but the pure powder form is cheaper and has no added sugar or artificial flavoring. Here's why it works differently from regular fiber. Psyllium is what's called a soluble fiber. When it hits water in your gut, it forms a soft gel-like mass, not a hard lump. That gel gently coats your intestinal walls, grabs waste that's been sitting there, and carries it through. It doesn't irritate, it sweeps. The dose is 1 teaspoon in 8 to 10 ounces of warm water first thing in the morning before you eat anything. Warm water matters. It activates the gel faster and is gentler on a resting digestive system than cold water. And here's the bonus most people don't know. Psyllium husk has been shown in multiple studies to also lower LDL cholesterol by binding to bile acids in your gut. You're cleaning your gut and supporting your heart at the same time. Important, when you start psyllium, begin with half a teaspoon and work up slowly, and drink that full glass of water every time. But that's not all. Number 2, the overnight reset. Soaked prune water prepared the night before. This one sounds almost too simple. That's because it is. Prunes, dried plums, have been used for centuries to support digestion, but most people eat them dry or drink commercial prune juice that's loaded with added sugar. Neither is the best way. The method that actually works: take 4 to 6 prunes the night before and soak them in a glass of room temperature water. Leave them overnight. In the morning, drink the water first, then eat the prunes. Here's the biology. Prunes contain 2 things your sluggish gut needs. First, sorbitol, a natural sugar alcohol that draws water into your intestines and softens what's sitting there. Second, a compound called chlorogenic acid, which research suggests helps stimulate those weakened peristaltic contractions, the muscle movements your gut has been missing. The soaking water concentrates both of these. That's why the water matters as much as the prunes themselves. Do this 3 to 4 mornings per week. And the bonus, prunes are one of the highest antioxidant foods ever measured by the USDA. They may help protect the cells lining your gut from oxidative damage, which becomes more relevant every year after 60. Now, here's the part that surprised even me. Number 3, the gut reboot. Fermented foods, rebuilding what time takes away. Remember how I mentioned your gut bacteria shifts after 60? This is where you directly address that. Fermented foods contain live cultures, actual beneficial bacteria that can take up residence in your gut and help crowd out the harmful microbes that accumulate over time. The ones with the most evidence for older adults: plain, full-fat yogurt with live cultures, sauerkraut, the refrigerated kind, not the shelf-stable kind, kefir, and kimchi for those who tolerate spice. Start small, 2 to 3 tablespoons of sauerkraut with lunch, or a half cup of plain yogurt. If your gut has been struggling, adding too many live cultures too fast can cause temporary gas. Give your system 2 weeks to adjust. The dose is 1 fermented food per day with a meal, 5 to 6 days a week. And the bonus, a 2020 study from Stanford University found that a diet high in fermented foods increased microbiome diversity in just 10 weeks. And that diversity directly correlated with lower inflammatory markers in the blood. Lower inflammation, better joints, clearer thinking. It all comes back to the gut. Pay close attention to this next one. Number 4, the gut calmer, fresh ginger root. Ginger has been used in medicine for over 2,000 years, but it's not just tradition. The modern research backs it up specifically for the bloating and slow gut motility that comes with aging. Ginger contains compounds called gingerols and shogols that interact with receptors in your gut wall. They send a signal that tells your gut muscles to contract, the same kind of contraction peristalsis relies on. In clinical language, ginger is what's called a prokinetic. It moves things along. The method is slice a 1-inch piece of fresh ginger root, not dried powder, not capsules, fresh root, and steep it in a mug of hot water for 8 to 10 minutes. Add a small squeeze of lemon if you like. Drink it 20 minutes before your largest meal of the day. 1 cup once a day before your main meal. The bonus,
Ginger has been shown in multiple trials to reduce that uncomfortable feeling of fullness many seniors get after eating, even a small meal. If you find yourself unable to finish portions that used to be normal for you, this is worth trying. Most people stop here, but the real support happens with number 5, the lining protector, aloe vera juice. This is the one most people haven't tried yet, and it may be the most important one for seniors specifically. Your intestinal wall is covered in a thin layer of mucus. That mucus is your gut's first line of defense. After 60, that layer gets thinner. It's one of the reasons certain foods that never bothered you before now cause problems. Aloe vera juice contains compounds called polysaccharides that have been shown in clinical studies to support the regeneration of that mucosal layer. It also has a mild anti-inflammatory effect on the gut wall.